Don't usually do these, but I thought I would today just to kind of mark the occasion and just kind of bank it in the memories. Day after the first ever Leigh Centurions team took to the field in the LDRL festival, hosted by our friends at Warrington Wolves. Always fantastically run, always look after everybody and all the other teams. Strange feeling for myself really, going back there as coach of Leigh Centurions, being former head coach of the Wigan Warriors teams. But really good, a lot of fun. I mean, seeing a lot of friends again and making those connections and those relationships back, because some of them have been over 2 years since we last kind of saw each other face to face. I always get the odd ribbon and stuff on Twitter and Facebook and stuff from the lads, the Saints lads and the lads from Widnes and Leeds and whatever. Always a good crack. But yeah, bittersweet really, because it was a lot of fun, a lot of pride leading that team out. Seeing those lads, and girls in the kits from all the foundations, all the teams, Super League, Championship, from all over really. 20 odd teams turned up yesterday, and they were spread out over 2 full pitches, separated into the smaller pitches for us, but unbelievable. I mean, our first ever game was against Wakefield. It's a foundation I hold quite close to my heart really, because they've always had a really good ethos. Well, when I set up the teams at Wigan Warriors, it was a foundation that we kind of clicked with really early doors, 2018, 2019, going into the first games and the seasons. But they've always tried to do things the right way. I've always got on with the staff and coaches and players. So it was nice to see them again, in a different uniform with Leigh Centurions, and that's what made it a bit more special, because it was starting again from scratch. It took a long time at Warriors, for almost 4 years I was there with some, great assistants that I got on board, Gaz, and a bit later on Michelle, Adam and Jess that we got in the background, doing a lot of hard work. Giving them an opportunity to coach in this kind of a format. Me and Gaz started off, it was new for us both, but we've been a bit of a rugby background, kind of pushed it forward, and we took it like a duck to water. It was absolutely amazing. And then adding Michelle on, a lot of knowledge that she's got with obviously disabilities, and within the community again, myself quite revered really as a coach. When the connection was made, it was like, it was a no-brainer for me, and it just grew and grew. So it was great to see them down there, especially catching up with guys and seeing all the rest of the players, and the fact that they took time to come over and watch the Leigh team, and Steve was there taking some photographs for us and showed them later, which the parents and carers and players all really appreciate seeing themselves in action. So it was fantastic really, but again, leaving that, stepping away from that and starting again from scratch can be quite daunting. And yeah, a few more grey hairs, but this is why we do it, but we don't do it for ourselves. It's not for us to parade around in gear and look at me and this, that and the other. And don't get me wrong, Gaz used to call me media man and stuff at Wigan, but I used to cringe. I used to hide behind stuff, and with my own kind of struggles with disability, obviously being blind, one eye and stuff, and really late kind of diagnosis with autism at 40 years old. Public speaking is not really my forte really. I used to hide behind stuff and kind of avoid that, but even being at Warriors and stuff, that kind of thrust me into the spotlight and give me an opportunity to have a go at it really, in safe hands and around people that I know, and kind of grew. So I'm always forever grateful, for my hometown club for giving me those opportunities and letting me grow as as a person and a coach, and spread the word of disability rugby league and all the stuff that comes with it, with the awards and stuff, and doing stuff and interviews and magazines and things. It's nice and yeah, it's great, but you read any of my stuff when I've asked questions, or if it's an interview, radio, TV, whatever, magazine, Rugby League World, just put one out now about myself, but it's not about myself. It never is. It's always about the community coaches that I experienced growing up, know, starting at school, at primary school, and Mr. McDermott, I was St Pat's at Wigan. He used to do the commentary for Wigan Warriors at Central Park, so he used to get us, you know, riled up with the rugby. He used to take us down to St Pat's rugby club at the bottom of the road and do our PE lessons and school teams and stuff like that, really push it. And it's an old kind of adage, really, an old saying that it's kind of injected into you, spoon-fed from a baby, you know, in this borough, Wigan, Leigh, surrounding areas, the northwest in general, really. But it's very lucky to have that start, really. I remember trying to play rugby at dinner time, and I was very, very young, and I must have made a break. I'd kind of left everybody for dead in the dust, got over the try line and just slammed the ball down like a touchdown. And all I could hear was Mr. McDermott come bounding across the playground. Burns, what are you doing? What are you doing? This is how you put the ball down in rugby league. And he'd showed me, and you know, we taught us all the proper techniques and took over the PE lessons, like I say. And he used to get the Wigan players to come down and, you know, train with us at primary school at PE. You know what I mean? It's quite commonplace that now, you know, for clubs and Super League clubs and foundations to do that. But then, back then in the 80s, you know, it was very rare. And you know, you turn up to PE, he'd walk you down Darnton Street to the bottom of the road, onto the rugby pitches of the club, and then the next minute you've got like Sean Wayne's there, you know, one of my personal heroes, Steve Hampson, you know, running up and down, Jed Byrne, all these names could pop into my head now that were just there, and we were just awestruck as kids. And you know, the thing taken away then, you could see the likes of Sean Wayne and stuff, the mind that he had of rugby league, and you do look back and you think, yeah, you get it, you know what I mean? The struggles have been there, and you know, stuff that he's talked about himself, you know, his past and growing up, you know, we all kind of have similar, if not the same, stories of stuff like that. And rugby league's always been a great pathway for lads in this town that, you know, if you're good enough, you'll get spotted. And I never considered myself good enough to go that way, but you know, I tried like everybody else. And once I got the bug and I'd seen these lads and seen them growing up, watching them going across to the, you know, to the bridge and trying to sneak in at half time to Central Park, absolutely fantastic. And then even going up to secondary school, started off at Cardy in Hindley, Colonel Newman, Mr. Griffin, John Griffin, absolute legend of rugby league for schools and in this area. Everybody knows Mr. Griffin. Even when I speak to him, even if it's a Facebook message or I see him and stuff, it's always sir, still always sir, and it always will be, because that respect's always there. You know what I mean? That they see something in you and they push it. You know, not like a sadistic way of pushing it. You know what I mean? Like just a under your wing type of thing, and explaining things to you, and you know, relying on you, giving you some responsibility at that age. And you know what I mean? It's absolutely fantastic to have somebody like that. And moving then to Rosebridge, well, obviously still playing the community game at Rosebridge, but Mr. Svant, science teacher, Rosebridge, yeah, again, another very famous name in rugby league in the area and stuff, with schools rugby and another town team and stuff like that. He used to get us all free tickets. School team was fantastic. Half of the lads that were already there were playing for Ince Rosebridge Sunday League, and the rest of us were at Cardiff. So when that closed and we all went to Rosebridge, we had a pretty decent team and got to quite a few schools finals. You know, managing to play at Central Park and stuff like that. So you get these figures, you know, that's just at school. But community game, and you know, again, this is a list that I could rattle off. You know, Wayne Boyd, legend again, Dennis Boyd, Billy Halliwell, Ian McCulloch, Paddy Malone. You know what I mean? All these names that we had around us. You know, that again I mentioned in the last article that I did at Rugby League World. If you read that, it's like these supermen. It's like Clark Kent turning into Superman. That's the way I described it. It's like you know, a bit like I'm doing now. I'm getting ready, I'm putting a session on. Been working all day, I've come, I've got changed, and I'm out again, doing it because I absolutely love it. But these guys had finished work, they'd disappear into the clubhouse, and they'd come out with the trackies on. And that's how I kind of try to describe it, as Clark Kent going in, whipping off the work stuff, and then there's your kit underneath, And that's how it feels, and that's how it does feel. You're kind of putting that costume on to give these lads and girls, you know, every single format that we've got now in this sport, wheelchair, PDRL, LDRL, women's, girls, you know what I mean, the community game, the rep game. It's absolutely fantastic. And it's just growing all the time. But to give thanks to those guys, you know, for pushing us through. And like I say, at the time I played in a team that was littered with people. Paul Wingfield, you know, Wingy, there was Scully, you know, Paul, even Danny'd come and play with us as well. And Martin Allamel, Phil Kendrick, Carl Roden, Stu Cass, you know what I mean? Damien Cleary, there's lists that I could go on and on for that were, you know, at the time I took for granted playing with, but bloody hell, it was absolutely amazing. And to get a break later on in life, you know what I mean, playing with Lancashire and stuff, and with the GB teachers, and then, you know, being sure of that, and then stuff happening to me, and being able to establish disability teams at Wigan Warriors, and then work there full time, and now at Leigh Centurions, and with Scotland, with the PDRL, with the disability team. It's all thanks to a lot of those guys, really, of what happens and what images and what ethos they leave with you, and you take pieces of it and stick it with your own. So I'm forever grateful for those guys, and the support they still give me, and the messages that still drop into my inbox. So, you know, thank you to everybody, and thanks for Leigh Centurions and getting me on board to get this stuff going. And that's Festival 1 done. Playing Widnes, at Widnes, half-time of the first team game on Friday. Amazing. Thank you very much. I'll speak to you all soon.